Use the code CHICKEN in the shop.
Hey guys, the Chicken is here. We're back to another Boom Beach video. In today's video, guys, we missed a couple things in yesterday's Season 40 announcement kind of trailer. So apparently Boom Beach puts out this video every month. It's called This Month on Boom. I always seem to miss them for whatever reason, but we actually have some decent info in this one. So I figured we could start off today's video by going ahead and doing a little watch along together. So here's what we got for the... Damn it. I already screwed it up. Okay, let me go back in. So here's what we got for the month. We got Dr. Vitamin, Criner Mania, Speed Serum, Deployable Turret, blah, 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 and then Warship Season 40 Shock Party. So I think the interesting stuff is probably going to come towards the end. Everything else we've more or less already seen, you know, a million times. They do this cool little spin the wheel kind of thing, which is interesting. And then we got the Halloween crab coming up. That's actually coming up very soon. Let's see what we can see from here. So we got a mega crab and a pumpkin. I like that. I like that. But I believe we do not have the vampire Zookas for the Halloween mega crab. All right, so check this out. Look at this. We have a Lasertron and a Shockeneer on Season 40. So we were talking a little bit about this yesterday. You know, what does Shock Party mean? I think that's pretty well it right there. So if we go back and we look, the previous seasons where we've had proto troops and stuff like that, we have had, let me just pull up my notes here. There's been certain stuff that we've just never had. And what I'm thinking is we're probably going to have Shockeneers, Lasertrons, and maybe Shock Bombs, or maybe Mini Shocks. That's something we didn't talk about too. Mini Shocks are actually great and they're really helpful. So I mean, if they want to stick that where they would typically stick like a key vacuum node, I think that would be cool to play around with for sure. And they don't cost a lot of GBE either. So yeah, and I mean on the other ones, like the other seasons, we haven't had all the gunboat abilities. Like we've never had. I don't think we've ever had Mini Shock actually, or Tiny Shock, whatever it's called. So that would be cool. I mean, you know, hopefully we get the Cryo Bomb. That would be nice. They've never put Speed Serum in, which would be, I feel like, which would be a ton of fun. As long as they jack up the building health and maybe even the building damage a little bit, to be able to balance that out and make sure it's actually balanced. They'll just jack up the stats. But yeah, so Season 40. All right, let's see what we got. Whoops. We forgot to look at the gameplay of it. Oh, it doesn't show us. It just shows us that. Usually it shows us like a deck layout or something. That's it. That's it. That's all, folks. So, yeah, I'm going to close this screen for a second. So, I mean, that's something. That's a little bit of information. It's going to be interesting for sure. Again, I don't know exactly as of right now what the season looks like or how it's going to play out, but you guys let me know down below in the comments. It's always fun to kind of speculate on what we're going to have happen. Yeah, I don't know. What I would like to see is a new proto troop be released just for the season. Obviously, they don't really ever do that, so it's probably not actually going to happen. But they did tweet out the Lasertron, and we've had all this update stuff, you know, kind of circling around about a new troop recently. It would be kind of funny if they just dropped it on us, you know, with no sneak peeks, with no warning. I mean, ideally, no, don't do that. That's dumb. But you never know with Boom Beach, right? So, yeah, I think that would be kind of interesting to see if they just dropped on, like... What I was thinking would be interesting, and kind of what they were almost hinting at, was a Lasertron that instead of doing damage, it shocks stuff in a line. So it just goes zap down the middle, and it shocks everything within that kind of range or anything that it touches. I think that would be interesting. The problem with the Lasertrons and the proto-tanks in general, and especially in warships, is they're just simply too expensive on GBE to use, and they're too slow. So, I mean, you combine those two things together, and they're just unusable. Like, they're not even something you can throw in every now and then. I think there might have been a season somewhere where Rainmakers were okay for a minute. But even that, it's, like, pretty... You know, it's pretty rare that they throw proto troops in and we actually end up using them in any kind of way. The only time they really come in is if the bases are so dirty that we can't clear an ER, and then they're kind of helpful for, you know, some of those things. But Other than that, we don't really see a lot of use out of them. But I think it'd be really cool if they would be able to do that, you know. Even if they could do an update or something where it allows them to, you know, swap out different abilities with different tanks. So how cool would that be? It's like you have a Lasertron and you could switch them to either deal like fire damage, shock damage, or just the regular damage, and maybe it does a little bit more damage and no splash or something like that. I think that would be interesting. I don't know. Just a thought, but, you know, for the most part, I think we all know what's going to happen. It's going to be, you know, someone wrote in the comments yesterday, actually, it's like, chicken, it's going to be heavy rush to whoever can get heavy choppers and the doodlers first. Which, you know, if I was to bet, I would probably bet on that being the case. But, you know, it's always fun to speculate, and especially when we have like a title and stuff to go off of, then usually, not always, but usually there's a reason that they put those titles in. It's not just for no reason. I mean, sometimes it is, but usually it's not. Usually there's some sort of theme to the season. But yeah, so the season starts on Monday, 4 a.m. Eastern, I believe, is going to be that start time. So make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel to catch it going live. Hopefully we'll have sneak peeks this time around. I'm not saying we are or we are not 100%. I never know until we can do them. I believe we are going to. But I can't really talk about that, so yeah, there's no cause for concern right now anyways, so I think that's a good thing, because you know, last season, going in blind, like, yeah, it was kind of cool and fun in a way, but at the same time, you know, it was, I feel like it was kind of at the detriment, because it's not fun when you have bad tech. It's really not. Like, if you make a couple bad choices, it's like, oh, that sucks, like, it's not like the main game where it's like, okay, you can take a couple bad troops into play, and, you know, you can goof around, and if you win or lose, you're just going to go right back in and try again. With Warships, it's like, okay, you're going to pay for that for the next, you know, week or 2 weeks of making a bad decision. So it's not, you know, as fun in Warships to take a path that isn't really, like, optimal or leads to the optimal path, or, like, isn't a huge, you know, takeaway from it, if that makes sense. That's how I feel about it anyways. I don't know. It would be nice if we had, you know, a little bit more variance, but then at the same time, you make it too easy and you destroy the fun of it. So it's one of those things. It's hard to be perfect on, and that's what we talked about a lot in the little Q&A interview I did with Mr. Nunu there. So yeah, let's move forward on this one. The Vampire Zoogas are great. I think, like we talked about yesterday, they're a great troop for low levels. Like, I mean, if you just want to clear the base, like, you're going to be able to clear the base. They typically don't die, you know, unless you're hitting mines or you're getting shocked or whatever. But they are fun to use. They're satisfying in a weird way, because they you know, they're such a fragile troop normally, so it's kind of cool to see them be able to just absorb all that damage and not have to spam medkits constantly on them. So let's get I don't even know where the HQ is over here. Now the problem is, you see, that rocket launcher, it's going to be on the Zookas, and then as soon as they stop shooting stuff, that's when the rocket's going to do some damage and almost take them down. But look at this, they're almost able to self-heal against that flamethrower. That's crazy. Alright, let's throw some barrage in here, get these girls some help, and bingo, bango, bongo, there we go. So that was fairly easy, but yeah, so I wanted to watch the T-Mob this month on Boom video with you guys, and just kind of go over that, just to touch up a little bit on what we talked about yesterday. Are these the... Yeah, these are going to be the crab tribes. So these are actually some pretty sweet trab tribes. Trab tribes? Oh, chicken. Actually, I should be using gold, because I have nothing to use gold for. So we'll use tank life leech on our first trab tribe. And then we'll go here for some Scorcher damage. Barrage damage. These are actually some pretty awesome tribes for the crabs. So, there it is, guys. There it is. Ooh, we got some resources to spend. Let's go... I don't know. Let's do the mortar. I am going to re-up on that second builder, too, because I always get so much progress done on the Mega Crab. It's awesome. I got all my heavy... my big upgrades done, for the most part. It's just all the little stuff I got to do now, which is going to take forever, but we're close to having a maxed out base, which is going to be pretty cool, especially with an update potentially around the corner. Oh, guys, I forgot. Don't touch the boat. So this boat, the way it works, how I understand it, this would be a nice little tip for those of you guys that made it to the very end of the video. So yeah, you should always be doing this right before the update, is just make sure that you leave the boat. Don't collect it daily. Because, what do we have here? We have all these villages. Every base you destroy, like those NPC bases we just destroyed. So we look at the island there, once we destroy it, we get 106 gold per hour. And that's constantly being collected on this boat here. If we go to our resource bases, do we have any active ones? A couple? Production per hour, 210. Oh, it's got a picture of stone on it. I was like, 210 what? So yeah, these make us gold per hour. And the way they work is they stack up in this boat. And this boat comes in once or twice a day or something like that. I forget how often, but it actually might be every time you open the app. I'm not sure about that. But what happens is, and I don't know if it's a bug or if it's how it's supposed to work, but this thing can hold unlimited resources. So if you leave it forever, like I've left it for a year or two at a time, and I just resources flooded. It was crazy. And the cool thing is, when somebody attacks your base, since you don't technically have these resources in your storages, they can't take it. So it's a free way of being able to store essentially as much loot as you can. So yeah, use your loot. Don't collect from the boat. And hopefully we got some cool stuff coming up. But yeah, look at that. We got a nice picture of a turtle right there. That was pretty cool. So yeah, there it is, guys. As always, thank you so much for watching. That is going to wrap it up for the video today. Make sure to leave a like if you found it interesting, entertaining, or informative. Catch you next one, guys. Chicken out. Back.